coming of age story where these characters are discovering themselves and how they want to identify while they're still challenging their status quo. And the use of the flowers throughout was a means of symbolism for love and also a signal for affection and sharing affection. There was a clear arc in this character and how he found a way to stand up for himself and not to pretend he was something he was not. That was very prevalent through several of the characters, but most prominently in our main protagonist. And there was an undertone of a prominent religious community just kind of thrown in there from time to time that really aided to add in this element of this extreme pressure on these students to hide their sexual identities. And then you had the character who played the jock who really poked and prodded at these characters throughout and really challenging them in sort of in this cruel way, which to me represented how society um, would treat them as a whole. He really was the representation of society at its worst. And I felt like that was a great way to kind of throw that in.
I love the overall analogy of flowers about how flowers are like people and some grow together while others aren't. They can't grow in the same pot, the same area. And that's just how life is. That's just how the world is and how people are, which is so realistic. So I thought that was really beautiful. I really loved the story. I loved the conversation, having one person who fully accepts themselves and another person who doesn't. They fall in love. And of course, there's that push pull of like, I want to be someone who you're proud to have on your arm. Whereas, other people are like, but what will others think, as opposed to thinking about what they want for themselves. So I think it was very beautiful. So I really like the flower shot in the beginning and how you saw the flower shot at the end with no flower in the field while he's playing soccer. I thought that was really cool. And I feel like that was a very good motif to have in this. I thought it was really dope. Um, I really liked the sun part with the flowers that grow together. It's absolutely stunning in a very visual sense. And I thought it was really cool. I think coloring wise, it was so bright, so vibrant, and dark when it needed to be, especially at like the party scene and whatnot. Um, and I thought the two actors, they did a great job. I think they did a very lovely job.
I really liked the lighting, especially in the bedroom. There was one scene where he was standing in his bedroom and the lighting through the window just looked so really good. I thought it was a really cute scene in the bathroom with the boy and the girl. The girl was a really great actress, by the way. Everybody had good performances. She just stood out to me for some reason. She just felt so real. It was a very nice story. Everybody held their own. And I like how the guy finally said, I'm done pretending to like you. I think that goes for anybody at any time, even if you're, whatever sexual preference you have. That guy was just a jerk, and it's like, why do we pretend we like people, and why do we care if they like us or not? I really like the visual of the flowers too throughout, and at the end, throughout on the baseball caps, and then at the end was really neat and creative and different. I just really like that a lot, and ethereal, or like, whatever the word is there.
This was really impressive from the very beginning, where there's this crisp cinematography and through the story. Because at first it's made very clear that Rob is a jerk. Because at first it appears that he's calling the other guy a queer just for reading a book, which is a great way to introduce his character, saying he's a jerk and kind of a jerk to everybody. And it's kind of nice that he got what was coming to him at the end. The story of this is just brilliant. The acting was great and the direction was phenomenal, because it really shows that awkwardness of teenage years where they're exploring and trying to fit in with the crowd while too afraid to be themselves. And it came across on the screen that it felt very awkward but authentic between the actors. And it made it a really captivating film to watch because it brought back several memories. And I could get that even if you're in the LGBTQ community. I imagine it's even more awkward.
Absolutely loved this. I loved the kind of slow, awkward approach that they took to it, where you clearly felt their youth, you felt their kind of awkwardness, the type of like the firsts of not knowing what you're doing and having nothing to base it off of in your own experience. And along with that does comes with some peer pressure as well, where you don't want to be quote unquote like left behind. You want to be with your friends doing the kind of the same, you want to be progressing at kind of the same pace. And I loved that they really included that. They included this like build up of, how to get this first kiss or girlfriend or whatever. And, it ended up being kind of like stilted and kind of awkward. And I really enjoyed that. Um, and then just the kind of like honesty that you got in glimpses where you kind of felt him being, more comfortable in his own skin, and you kind of started to see maybe what he truly wanted, even if he felt like he was kind of still making that realization himself. Uh, and then I absolutely loved the comparison between with relationships and flowers, and using that as a comparison for relationships, I thought was so good, and I absolutely love that viewpoint, that idea.
Very well done, well crafted short film. I really enjoyed the story behind it. First of all, I think the main character, you can really feel the struggles of the main character for sure, and the fact that this young man is trying to find his sexuality, but he's still not ready to accept himself. People around him can be pretty hostile, but he finally finds his way in the end and his people. I enjoyed in fact, the flowers that we have, the flower symbol that we have in the film, and the mix between this chase, this quest towards accepting yourself and the sport as well, football. I think it was a very well done mix between sport and love and introspective journeys.